bolted.
We bolt it.
Yeah, but let's say a chine.
What?
Is it an issue, once you nail and glue a chine and the wood and everything, it's there to stay, right?
It's normally there to
I mean,
stay.
we're not talking about it maybe coming apart or something. If it came apart or the nails backed out, it would be an unusual thing. Right?
Never had one that back out nails on the chine.
Yeah.
Nailed the chine down.
Now, sometimes you get a little on your rub rail because of the heat and the getting wet and whatever. But normally you never had no trouble with the chines. But the rub rail sometimes would give you some trouble.
Is the proper designation a floating bottom?
Yep.
That's floating bottom.
That's what,
Just nailed on the outside, floating bottom.
floating bottom.
No frames.
And you
No
did,
frames.
and that, you know, whenever you put the inner keel, we call it the inner keel, it's not, but the outer keel on, you leave a gap in the back, you don't, inside the boat so the water can drain back and forth, you only need one drain hole in it. And then, but you stay off the stern with the ones that we build about this much, leaving the water can drain either way, you know, going back and forth. But some people like put two holes in, one on either side, but it's not that you have to cap 2 holes or you have to put a plug in both holes, you know. It's easy, if you're running an engine and you're don't have a wheel in it or anything, you're using the tiller,
Right.
you can reach down on one side. If you're right-handed, you reach down and pull that plug over here. You can reach down behind the seat you're sitting on, pull the plug. Or if you're left-handed, you do it over here. But a lot of people like theirs both ways. Because sometimes they say they drains better on this side of the boat.
It depends on where they park the
Well, all
boat.
they have to do is get on that side, and the water's going to go on that side.
You got double the chances of forgetting the plug too.
I
Yeah.
think it depends on what hemisphere you're in.
But a lot of times, you know, when they brought it to the house, you don't want to leave the plug in, you take the plugs out. Well, where they got to park it, the plug might be on the wrong side. Because they park it over here and the plug's over here, well, this corner dog gonna feel it, or it's vice versa. So if you got one on each side, you got it.
It's only good.
We're talking about rainwater and stuff.
Rainwater. Rainwater does more damage
Rainwater kills them, man.
to that boat than anything else.
That's a fact.
You fill it full of salt water, it don't hurt it. You fill it full of fresh water,
You better get it done.
Doesn't take long either.
Any other questions?
Who doesn't know what a chine is, be honest? Okay. And a keelson, or and a rub rail, does everybody know the parts of a boat? We're not confusing anybody with that? Okay. And when we take a break, go look at that boat, and you'll see what they're talking about, a free bottom. There is no cross framing to it at all. And when you ride them, they go like this. And it'll scare the hell out of you.
You got your feet on the floor,
It'll scare you the first time.
you feel every wave.
Oil canning.
Yeah, exactly.
Any more questions?
What's the first step?
First step,
Step.
Yeah.
we need
Make a
to,
bow step.
We're here.
Huh? Make a bow
Make
step.
Get here. Be here on time. Make the bow stems first. That's the first thing you want to. And I spent a half a day learning how to cut a bow stem up there at George West. When I decided to do it by myself. But I mean, it didn't take long. I mean, I was up there. I still teach at school here, but I will try to cut the bow stem at my dad's house up there. It took me all day to figure out how to cut that dad's bow.
You gotta plan ahead, right?
You gotta plan ahead. You gotta think about it about it. It's easy. Once you get it down, you leave that saw set in one place. The only thing you do is you gotta move that fence to the other side of the blade.
Now, all the angles of the bow stems change with the width of the bottom of the boat. It's not one set angle, correct?
Same,
5-foot bottom, you got a little different
same,
angle.
same bow stem,
same bow stem.
Okay.
same bow stem.
Maybe just a little wider. I know what you're talking about. Yes, it needs to be a little, but you can come up the same way.
Well, I built
Same
the boat-
angle but deeper? The same angle but deeper, is that what you're saying?
Deeper. Any more questions? I tell you what, we can sit here tomorrow and the next day and we can
Talk about
talk about it and talk about it. You learn when you pick up the hammer, the saw, cut the boards, put the boards together, and try to be on every part of the boat. If it takes us starting 2 boats at once, we've got a big crowd, I'll tell you right here. Some needs to be hammering, others need to be paying attention. In other words, if you're not on the hammering end or grabbing a nail or doing something, you need to pay attention. We're gonna do 2 of them.
Well, you gotta get.
If I knew this class was gonna be this big, I would tell you that we would cut the class off at a certain place and then do it again, right after we finished with one or start another class or do something. But we're gonna build 2 boats and we're gonna get as many people going. Some of them you're gonna be standing around and some of them you're gonna need to grab a hammer or saw or whatever we need to do, or sandpaper or something. But don't just stand around all the time. Get into some of the action. Do it. You know, I was in the FFA, Future Farmers of America, when I was in high school, and the motto was earning to live, live to serve, learning to do. And that learning to do is the main thing in life. Learning to do. If you learn how to do it, then you can go on with life. And that's the same with life. I've never forgot that part of the FFA motto or whatever they called it. Learning to do. In other words, if you don't get out and try to do something, then you're not ever going to be successful at it. And I put that through, and I tried to remember that as long as I lived. When I arrived in Port Aransas, I didn't even know what a boat was, hardly. You know, I'd go down the dock and I'd ride around Johnny Martin's fishing boat and stuff like that and so forth. And all of a sudden somebody says, you know, after being so many years, hey, we're going to have a junior high school and we're going to have a junior high school, and we're going to have a high school in time. And anyway, somebody had told me a long time ago that I was going to be the shop teacher and all this stuff, because I had all that stuff behind me down at A&I College, and even in high school, before we moved to George West, I was at Northside Junior High School in Corpus Christi. Used to be up on the hill, right behind where Bryce Lodge used to be. There's some big old building there. But that was Northside Junior High School in Corpus. And I went there, and we had a shop class going on in the bottom of that building. That we started doing things, putting things together, building little things, and all kind of things were built down there that the teacher, and we had teachers who, it was during the World War II, and we had teachers who were just lay people out in the public. You know, they weren't really teachers. There wasn't hardly enough teachers to go around back in those days, and we had a shop class that was down in the basement of Northside Junior High School. And I learned some of my skills from that class right there that I have never forgotten. And then at A&I College, I thought I was going to be an ag teacher. And so I took a lot of farm shop classes and things like that where I worked with, one time we took an old McCormick combine that was over there that went over to Bishop, picked it up, brought it to A&I College and put it in Mr. Shalene, Dr. Shalene's shop class. And anyway, that was quite an experience. I mean, putting that thing back together. And I'll tell you what, the gentleman that owned that combine, when he got that combine back and everything on it worked, he couldn't believe it. And I mean, that's how much the guys who was in the same class I was in, that farm shop class, that we were proud of that combine. I mean, we painted that thing up to look like it came out of the factory. We had to build all the paddles that, you know, that goes in front of it, around and around, that put the heads back up against the cutter bar. We had to build that whole thing. There wasn't a piece of wood on it. The frame was still there, but we did that thing from end to end. And one of the classes that Dr. Shalene, Mr. Shalene had, was a motor class. I wasn't in that class, but they took the motor out of this thing and they rebuilt that motor, and I believe that motor ran better than when it was new, when it got on there. Mr. Shalene, I can't remember, I think he became the doctor along the way, but it was Mr. Shalene when I was first there. And he was, he was all over that shop when you were doing the things. But one thing I gotta tell you about him, he could look at something and he knew if you did it and if you did it right. But I got away with one thing. You had to build a chisel out of a piece of round bar, and you had to put some sides on it, and get it out. You had to heat it, you had to do it, you had to needle it and everything else. When you got it to where you could cut a piece of plate about 1/4 inch thick, and you had to put that chisel on it and chisel it, and he had to look at it, seeing if you burned the blade on it, it'd send it back and you had to work it again. If you did not anneal that thing the right way, you wasn't gonna cut that thing. Well, I got to messing around in there, and by luck, I put that thing in that big thing that you put all the heat in, can't think
Forge.
of the name. Forge. And put that thing in that forge, and I let it get too hot in that forge, and it went to spit it about 3 times before I could get it out of there. And I put that sucker down in that water real quick, and I brought it back, and there, where it had spit little things out of there, was in there. So I went to work on that chisel. I kept that chisel, and it was already shaped, everything else, but it had a little blowouts on it. It took me a while to get them cut out of there and everything. I sharpened that blade on it, and you had to cut this bar with it in front of him. And I cut that bar across there, and he looked at that blade there, and he said, "Man, that's a good needle job." Next guy took it, and he burned it again with a torch a little bit, but he didn't knock the needle out of it. He sharpened it up again with the little bit that had been bent on the end, and he took it up there and showed it to him. He got a grade for it too. And 3 other people fit that chisel. The best of that chisel was right there. And if it wouldn't have been because I let that thing in that bar too long and it spit a while, it would have been, it bent. I mean, most of those chisels, the first time they cut that bar, at the end of that blade, that chisel was already bent, but not that one. And I wish I could have kept that thing. I should have, and I don't know what happened to it ever. But, and that was probably the only real thing that I had to do in college other than sit down courses was his course. But I did have one other course under that. I got my eyes burned, believe it or not, thing, and they thought I was going to lose my eyes, and they had me at a doctor, and they were putting all kind of this kind of salve in my eyes and everything. And I was in a welding class the next year. And the windows in the back of the building, they had big glass windows and so forth, and they had all the welding cages in the back, and you faced to the east. And when that sun got down there, and the class was in the afternoon about 3 o'clock, and the sun was shining through those windows. And believe this or not, I got my eyes burned with the mask on, the hood on, and glasses on and everything else. And the window was opened up. You could open the window, there's no screen, but somehow or another the window was reflecting the sun, and the sun was hitting inside my helmet. And I mean, they put me. I stayed in bed for 3 days, and putting that white salve in my eyes. The doctor did and had me down for 3 days before I got back, and that was the end of my welding class. But I passed it though. I had passed it. But he was probably one of the best teachers at A&I College. I mean, he was down and out. He was the teacher who taught you things.
We won't find it until we get to it.
Does anybody else have any questions?
Now take a short break, walk over, look at this boat. Who was it didn't know what a chime was?
Mark,
That's just about all I know. Yeah.
Here it is right there. Got it.
Find it.
I see it.
See it. You don't see it.
Further forward than I thought.
They probably did.
They're all flat. Once they keep what is, but it's still.
Yeah, they tried a little bit.
Well, I never thought about it.
But they got more horsepower, so don't worry about it. Shove it on a plane.
Yeah, horsepower for weight.
Paxton Kippy through county to Hondo. His boys ended up with Skiff. I thought I knew transport sold in the Skiff. Oh yeah, so I got serious seller's remorse on that deal.
How's it going, Alex?
This will be fun.
Looking good.
Yeah.
We put an inside and we put an outside. Not always, but we like to put an outside place and inside.
Okay.
That makes it just that much stronger.
So the minimum power these things run on like a 15.
Yeah, it'll run on 15.
Yeah.
It might not get up to blinding, but it'll go. I mean, you put 6 horse on it.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna go, but it's not gonna get up and run.
Okay.
They were ideal for 25, 30. You know, was the ideal motor. And then once, you know, now a 40 horse today is like what a 10 used to be.
I already got it now.
You're buying from you.
I saw that board, I got it.
That's it. Used to be somebody's shuffleboard.
Okay, so tomorrow night too, and next night, or 3 nights? 3 nights.
3 nights this week.
3 nights this week. All right.
And then by 3 nights this week, we're going to be able to tell you the schedule then, but it'll be at nights.
We'll start cutting mouse stems and shit like that.
See, once you cut the bow stem, but you got to put the pieces together to cut the bow stem.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
all that is slow ass work.
Yeah.
But it just takes time to do.
Yeah, but we can
We're making the first
we
step
can make
right here.
we can make two bow stems with that, right? Wow. Good. Good. Well, you better get that goddamn saw going.
Let's go.
I got my hammer. Got a nail?
I got some glue.
Got some glue. Got a sock.
We're gonna use Elmer's. We're gonna save money here.
I like that little jig. I'd make my make that something bigger, I can work
You
it
can work on it, yeah. All it is a sawed off sawhorse.
See it sitting on there. You can make it design.
That's just your size, ain't it? That's just your height. Ain't it?
Still, he'd want it up a little bit higher.
We're gonna have to put his beer on this.
No, I can't reach it down there.
That sounds good, cold beer.
You're talking about a rum and coke, not a beer.
Oh yeah, rum and coke, yeah.
RC Cola.
RC Cola. RC.
Boy, that's a slab of wood. And I'm impressed with that piece of wood.
That's pretty, isn't it?
Herb was telling me it's some wood he has, it's some wood he used to have, like, 30 inches wide, and 25 long, and 6 slabs of wood, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. It used to be common, but anyway,
That's a chunk of wood right there, ain't it?
that's a beautiful little slab. He said it's an inch and 7/8. A lot of money, yeah. Inch and 7/8. About 18 inches. We're gonna cut it up.
Get over there, Jack.
Where is that? Whew, Grant. I've got some towels right here.
Looks like they're setting up for.
Somebody's keys. Somebody's gonna not have a car key.
First off, I want the fence on the other side.
Hey, Herb, these yours?
No.
These your keys?
They're not.
What do you want me to do, Rick? What do you want me to do? Put up chairs or something?
Where's Herb go?
Or just one from the corner?
Okay. You wanna move
Get the saw going. I'm not gonna be here at 10 o'clock at night building a damn
Saw
saw.
a movie a few weeks ago. The bad guy was taking another bad guy and shoving his head down.
Sorry, I heard
With his
about
tongue,
that.
remember? It worked, it worked.
Yeah, it worked. Excuse me.
I was just turning around. Backed up on.
Sorry about that. We will now cut the wood.
Thank you, bud.
Okay, now you,
Move it over a little bit, move the saw. Move the saw out of the way.
boy, you talk about leaving the angle the same. You talking about until you're finished cutting the stem angle.
Yeah.
That's what you were talking.
Leave the angle the same angle. You might have to put the blade all the way down and go to the other side of the thing, but you cut it on the same angle all the way.
Right.
And it's
Somehow I was thinking you were saying for the chines and also and all that. You was talking about the stem.
yeah.
Okay.
Here we go. Here it is. Look. There's 2 3-foot pieces of mahogany together for the bow stem. One so-and-so, one so-and-so. And let's see. I never didn't want to cut a bow stem on a telesaw, and it took me a half of a day to get it cut right. Set your blade on 42.5 or 43 degrees and never change it.
Until you're done cutting the stems, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's
Until you're done with the stem.
If you need earplugs, here, I'll take one, Rick. Where? There you go. You got them? When we start gluing, you will become quite accustomed to these little blue gloves, nitrile. You will not touch glue without them. If you want a face mask when you're cutting, we've got them here. If you want eye protection, and if you're going to be on the saw, you have to have eye protection. Boy, it's going to get longer. Here they are.
Be all right.
If you're cutting the saw, you put these on your face. Got it? No heroes, okay? If you're with the saw, you put earplugs in your ears. No heroes. I don't want to hear any of this crap about, I don't need them, I've never used them. What? Okay. That's the man who's... Yeah. That's the man who's dead. All right. Where is her? You know what these are? Band-Aid. Something we never want to use. All right.
What do you say?
Band-Aids, you never want to use them.
Okay, this is Herb Lancaster. Herb is a master wood butcher. He owns Lancaster Industries and he makes incredible furniture. So he's going to feed some wood to the saw. Pay attention.
Well, let's cross-cut first, I think. If we're going to, well, let's back up. Are we going to do?
Come on over. Watch out, buddy.
Are we going to use this for a sign-in table after that? Or then for
We're hoping that if we run out, we're not
Oh,
going to.
then we don't want to cross-cut. So, go ahead and cross-cut that. You don't have a joiner belt if you need one.
Yeah, well, we can make it.
You want me to make a cross-cut too?
Yeah, if you want to, I mean,
Yeah, man.
You're the head butcher. Now, these are considered in my shop goggles. Like,
Because you own the shop.
yeah, well, I've asked OSHA, just for Rick and maintaining a precedence of positive safety. Thank you. So this is a valve stem, man.
this is gonna be,
And this is a commemorative cut.
First cut's the deepest.
First cut? All
I'm not
right.
gonna ask you what side of the line to cut, because I don't really use the skill saw as much as some of you.
want me to do it,
outfitters. Oh, no, I can use the skill saw. I can use the skill saw.
It's like riding a bicycle, don't worry about it. Hey, we got a good sharp blade on there, right?
I'm gonna cut from this side.
Brand new cord on it. He's like got a brand new cord.
Oh, somebody screwed up. Oh, she better not see that.
side that you're cutting.
Here we go. Countdown. Champagne.
You wanna cut on this side or that side of the line?
Here we go. Yay!
Right, that smells good.
Okay,
Love that stuff.
I can't hear myself think with these things.
We've been coming down here for 10 years.
Now, on the valve stem, it don't really make no difference if we got clean edges.
Right, but it does, you don't wanna get the bind on your table, so I just wanna make sure.
We're never playing
Now,
here.
that side would be the,
I don't think we're using this, are we? This is coming out.
Is there a plane, Rick, hand plane?
Until we get it jointed, I'll bring it in straight line next time. Well, if we've got a,
No joiners.
jig, a straight line jig, we can do a straight line jig on there, but we don't have one made up.
How straight is it?
It's straight enough
Okay.
for a valve stem. Now, that's another thing, is loose sleeves over a table saw, a big no-no. Wintertime is notoriously dangerous, because I see people all the time in my shop, nicking gets in a bind, you'll have a,
Look like
show everybody, Robo.
I was
That
walking
was,
by.
he didn't do that.
I was walking by.
We'll hear about that later. Also, I like, when I'm doing a kickback,
Extremely below average, believe me.
Here you go.
on this side of the blade, because you're always pushing, you're not pushing at the blade, you're actually pushing it on an imaginary intersection of the the difference between the blade and the fence. You're not pushing hard, but you're biasing your push at this angle to keep it against the fence and going this way. If you concentrate on the blade, you'll start to get off, and you go, oh, I'm off the fence, you start pushing, you get a bind. Next thing you know, you got your big old problem.
I got a story about
So
that.
you want to just, yeah, I've seen people eviscerated by table saws.
Ooh.
Not in my shop, thank God. Somebody was freehanding a crosscut on a panel, and I don't know what kind of plywood or whatever it was, but they got about halfway here and decided they're going to get another grip or something, and it spun it around that corner, caught him right there. They just got shot. Didn't kill him.
Ouch.
Took his guts up and freaked out, went to the car, went to the hospital, they stuffed them all back in, stitched them up.
It was a very powerful saw.
Well, when you get that plywood, get momentum like that, it's not a whole lot of distance between your guts and the meat.
Powerful saw won't stop. It'll just
We're
go
gonna
right.
cut 5 inches.
Has this been calibrated?
It's like crank on the car. It's calibrated as we can get it.
We want 2 5-inch.
Alright, mark hot. I gotta take it. I don't even have my pocket.
Tape measure, please.
Now, we want to finish 5 inches, because if so, we got some funkiness on this edge.
Well, like I said, this will get cut away. It doesn't really.
Make a real shallow cut.
5.5 and then trim to 5? Or
No. We're trying to save as much material as possible. Let's have 5 inches.
This is all 5/16 here.
I know what it is. Went through the whole thing.
Maybe not, maybe I just wouldn't know.
Supposed to be fun.
Pretty damn close. So 5 is what you want.
Yeah, I like that. I think this is the edge that we were looking at.
Real shallow cut. Full length, full width.
No, it's the other side. It's the other side. 34.
Something's gonna grab on you.
Got your blade to go up a little bit?
About right. Come down a tiny bit.
I know what I'd do.
This thing. Push and stop.
Is it blinking?
No, it's steady.
Kind of like driving your first new car.
Something hanging over here. Right there.
Oh, yeah.
You can kind of whack on it, it's not gonna hurt anything. I ran this through the planer and it left
Got enough
a
help?
big chunk off of it.
I think that's sanded to it.
Yeah, it got off track on the planer.
High spot. Here we go. Barn hose. Pusher man.
Another thing when you're operating a table saw or a planer or any type of machine that has a tendency to kick back, don't stand in front of it, act like you're a bullfighter. You know, you're kind of, that thing decides to go this way, you want to go, ole!
Say that again?
Ole! Sorry, Charlie!
Yeah, we need one more. That's a bad place.
One more, all right.
Yeah, for two.
Clean that edge on that far side there and slip that one.
Okay. Everything done?
Seems a shame that. Yeah. What part are we cutting right now? We're valve stand.
Alright, Bring it up to it. Alright, clamp it down.
Just gonna take this is a whisker off of it.
This is gonna be, right here is gonna be the transom, the two transoms.
Oh, okay.
Look out.
Let's just clean each edge and then we'll split this and we'll make
I wish I had a joint or a straight line. I
No
hesitate.
planes, we don't have any planes?
This has got pretty good crown cut. But it's not too
Do
bad.
we have any plywood?
We can make a straight line.
Well, if you could
Any plywood?
just put a straight board on it and then cut it.
That's what I was gonna say.
Screw a board on it and then make your own straight board.
That's what we were talking about, but,
If you can put a hole in it, you know, just get a straight board.
Put a little hole in it.
right,
I thought that was a piece
another
of
drill.
Yeah, that's crooked as hell there.
Right.
Do we have the material?
What do you need, Herb?
Do we have some material?
Well, we're talking about getting this board straight by screwing a piece of plywood to it and reference the fence to the plywood rather than the board. That's a little elaborate. Is this?
I thought, actually, I thought that was a piece of junk.
Well, it's got
Hey, well,
bow on one
why
side,
don't we
crown on
just
the
go
other.
ahead and measure
I could
out
freehand
another
if I
off of
was-
that and cut this
If I was
again, so we'll
compelled
have
to, I could
two.
freehand it across, but I don't want to.
No, no.
Can
you cut it in half? And then have one.
You got the same problem, you gotta reference the
Still
fence.
gonna have, all right.
If you run it 2 or 3 times, it'll come out.
Somebody finds a piece of,
Slap it on there, put a board on it.
sure I would.
No plywood.
God, I use a lot of that.
Get you another one out of that.
It's one of the clean up a bit. Just have to be careful, but it's a hole.
Pretty piece of junk.
I hit it with the heat.
Rain running out on it, just for a snap.
It just kind of softens that glue up. I don't think it's a short piece.
Well, he wants to split this. Okay. And I'm gonna, before I cut it, I wonder if I would do it.
For another dollar.
You want to split this or leave another one spot?
Now we're gonna split this and use it on the stern. We were gonna use this, for the 2 pours that we was gonna buckle, that we was gonna clamp here and,
Okay, you're gonna get a little less than 3.5 out of this, a little less than 3.5.
which is enough for the corner.
I was gonna say, if we could use that in lieu of that, that would be great.
If you want, we can just draw a straight line there. They don't have any plans or anything.
Okay, good for that. I like that. You do that while I'm splitting this. So, do all the proper precautions.
I'm trying not to cut up too much of this board.
You're gonna need it anyway.